Hi guys, this is Steve and this is Tarantula Tastic Enclosures. What's that star on the wall for?
You made me miss. I've never missed that board before.
This is American Werewolf in London build. So guys, welcome back. Right, today, yes, it is finally here, the American Werewolf in London build. I do not know how long, this has just taken too long for me to do this one. It is, in my own opinion, the ultimate werewolf movie out there. If you've not seen it, and I've seen it about 1 billion times, go rent it, watch it, download it, stream it, do whatever you can, watch the movie. It's absolutely awesome. It was groundbreaking when it came out. It's still an awesome film. Please go and watch it. A big thank you to we've got little clips coming through the build videos to make it a little bit more amusing for you guys and give you a little bit of a reminisce of them awesome quotes from the movie. I cannot emphasize how much I love this film. Apart from that, let's just get right down to it. Cheers, guys.
This airplane over Atlantic, on its way to New York. It were full of men from the United Nations. So halfway over the ocean, the engines run low on petrol. So they have to lighten the plane. So they heave out all the baggage, but it's still too heavy. So they chuck out the seats, but it's still too heavy. Finally, this froggy steps up and shouts, "Viva la France!" and leaps out. Then an Englishman steps up and shouts, "God save the Queen!" and leaps out. But the plane is still too heavy. So the Yank delegate from Texas steps up, shouts, "Remember the Alamo!" and chucks out Mexican.
So guys, to start, we have a Exoterra 30 by 30 by 30 centimeters. This was second hand, but as you can see, it's nice and cleaned up. If you want a quick tutorial how to clean up these second hand ones, I did a previous video, check that out. They're just like brand new once they're all cleaned up. So as you can see, it was all white and it really didn't match the original sign that you see on the film. So we've just painted in the brown, coloured up the wolf. I still wanted to keep it that hand painted look, a bit worn. So I don't think it's turned out too bad, a lot better than it was. So we've just held it in place with a bit of hot melt glue. And what you've got to remember is the level of the substrate. So you take the front as a guide to your level of the substrate. Because the last thing you want to do is put it in half of whatever decor that you're putting on the back or around the sides or whatever to be covered in sub. So it loses the total effect of the enclosure. So what we've got some polystyrene, a nice flat edge, so that's going to go in the corner and we're going to build up around it. So what we're going to do is we're going to have some brickwork sticking out of cocoa fibre background. So we're going to go for like the brick walls that you see in the moors. So it's going to be oldie weldy wall. We're going to do some on this side as well. So what we're going to do, we're going to hot glue it into place, and then to mould out the rocks we're going to get a soldering iron which will just melt it nice and easy, give you nice clean lines, and then we're going to tile grout it afterwards. Right, so we've pretty much decided on our rock formation that we're going to have sticking out of the cocoa fibre background. It's all stuck in place. Now the easy way to do this is why I love polystyrene, is that you can just melt it really easy. With a soldering iron. Do make sure it's in a well ventilated area though. So what we're going to do, we're going to carve out all the rock formations and then move on to the next bit. So as you can see, we've done some basic rock formations, just melted it out with the hot melt. So now we're going to grout it. So if you can only get white grout, the best thing to do, add a bit of paint to it, because if you're putting it on polystyrene, obviously white and white, you're going to need to see where you've been and where you haven't been. So you add a bit of paint to it, make it a different colour. That will give you an idea where all the places you have missed. Because when you coat this and seal it, it has to be completely sealed. Otherwise, when you put the sealant on it, it's just going to melt the polystyrene, and that's your project ruined.
You just can't let them go.
Go. Stay on the road. Keep clear of the moors.
So right, we covered it all in grout. So what we're doing now, we're going to soften it up a bit. This is done by a damp sponge. So if you can see that side, where you can see where I've smeared it all over, and then that side, just by dabbing it, just gently dabbing it, take out all the application marks where you've used your knife or whatever to apply it. And what we're going to do now, we're going to soften it all up, and then we're going to leave it 24 hours till it's all hard, and then we're going to come back and make sure that we've got every single little piece of polystyrene all covered. So we'll soften that up, give it all a bit of a clean up, because it's easier to clean it all off if you get it on your doors or anywhere else while it's still wet. Just a wet sponge, just wipe it all off, give it a clean up, and then we'll come back when it's dry. So it's all smoothed out. A lot of the mess in between, you've got to remember this is going to be cocoa fibre in between and built round, so I'm not overly fussed as long as the doors are clean. That's looking all right. As I say, leave it for 48 hours. Make sure all this grout's fully dry until we move on to the next bit. So we've got a dry day, so outside we're going to just give this a quick base coat before we start applying some more paint next. So there we go, we've just done a matte black base coat. Means everything's all the same shade to start with. Next we're going to start dry brushing the rocks to make them look rocky. Now just leave that to dry. So what we're going to do is starting adding some paint now. We've got some grey. Now you want your sponge as dry as possible. So we're barely putting any on. And all you need to do, dab it, whip your sponge over, and as you can see, slowly and slowly, it builds up. There's no technical thing about this, you just dab it, work it over, as you can see. It takes a little while, but soon it builds up. Alright, so we're going over with some grey. Now what we're going to do, we're going to lighten certain bits up just by using white. So we're going to add same principle again. We want a nice dry brush, and we're just going to add in some accents of white. And sort of build it up. As you can see, it starts getting the effect that you want, that rocky effect. Now if you look at rocks from outside, usually the lighter edges are like the top of the, where it's been sun damaged, the top of the rocks. So if you think about that when you're doing it, it'll give you a more realistic effect. This will take a while, so we're going to go round it in white.
Beware the moon. Stick to the roads, lads.
So what we're going to do now, we're going to try and fill in all these gaps with cocoa fibre, aquarium sealant and cocoa fibre. Got a bone dry substrate there. Gloves, HA6 marine grade silicone, so it's safe. So what we want to do is try and be careful so that we're only going round the rocks, and we're not going to cover all that good rock work that we've done. So the masked up still on the edges because I don't want it to go all the way across. Let's get down to it.
I will not be threatened by a walking meatloaf.
Now you want to take any masking tape off that you've done before it dries. A bit of a white spirit will clean any that you've got on the glass while it's still wet. Just take it straight off. Making sure you've got all around the top clear, because you do make a mess doing this, but you don't want to be having to scrape it away just to get the lid back on. As long as you get all of the glass. So there we have it. Background bit for at least it's done, so we're going to need to do that, and we're going to need to air it out until the smell goes. Also, while it's still wet, make sure you got every bit in all the little nooks and crannies. You can see how some bits have actually gone onto the well, but I don't mind that actually, it's going to look alright. I took the masking tape off when it was still wet, and I've sort of uneven that straight masking tape line, adding a little bit more silicone just around the edge. I didn't want it a dead straight line, so right, now to leave it.
Jack is dead, 6 people are dead, and I'm a werewolf. There's gonna be a full moon tonight. I'm going to the cops.
So guys, we've added the vinyl, which we've been doing to quite a few of our builds now. This hides up all the expanding foam. So guys, what we're doing, first thing we're going to add is a water dish. Now I've been doing this with a few of my enclosures now. Let's hide the water dish. So what you do, find a bit of tube cork bark and find a pot that is going to fit inside. This one fits kind of perfectly. So I'm going to put that to the side, and as you see from the front, we can't see any plastic horrible tubs. Sometimes with these builds you've got to sort of think of something, because I hate seeing it's a necessity, but hiding the water dish from plain view is always good, isn't it? So what we're going to do, we're going to set this up for a heavy weather. We've got some moss here, but we're not going to worry too much if it dries out. Let's still keep it sort of green, natural sort of look. Plus it might just get covered with web anyway, so we're not going to worry too much about it. So also, because this is going to be for a heavy weather, there's also gaps behind the werewolf, obviously down in the tube. Loads of places for it to create a nice little home. But I'm also going to need some anchor points. These are just branches from outside, but we've baked them in the oven. Just give make sure we've got any horrible beasties away. It's starting to look cool already. Not going to go overboard with the moss. Just a few little bits here and there, just to build it up a bit. It's all starting to come together now. We've also got leaf litter. I hate the look of plain substrate, and this sort of breaks that up, giving it a sort of more natural effect. Surprising how much it actually changes your enclosure just by adding a little bit of that. Gather it from outside, give it an oven bake, well, wash, oven bake, or make it easy and just get it from your spider retailer. usually sell bags of it. If you can't be bothered with all that hassle of baking it, it does smell a little bit. Try not to keep checking it every couple of minutes, because it does brown off really, really quickly. Pretty much there. Take that long to set it up. That looks pretty cool. So there we go, guys. I think that looks pretty cool. Let's go and see what it looks like on the display wall. Now that's looking awesome. So we've got hide, it's in the water dishes hidden as you come to the front. Always look better with the lights on. I'm really pleased how that's come out. All set up for a heavy Weber. Now we have an option. We could either go for one of these down here or something else. As you can see, guys, it's in pride of place. Now the display wall has had a bit of a revamp. We've got everything all labelled up. Every single one of these builds, it's all on the channel. So please do check them all out. If you want a little bit of inspiration, we're all here. Including the last Hellraiser one, Elm Street, Grim Creeper, Alien, Terminator, Shallow Grave, Predator, Friday the 13th, Goonies, Star Wars, Zombie Enclosure, a couple of Evil Deads. They're all on there. I think this one is certainly taking pride of place. So guys, I really hope you enjoyed that tutorial. I really hope you you like the build. Please comment down below, give it a thumbs up. Been a labour of love, this one, and I really do like it. But the question is, what are we going to put in this one? Well, I'm going to leave that one up to you guys. Obviously, we could go with the green bottle blue that we showed you earlier. What is your idea for the perfect Weber to go in this enclosure to make it look that little bit more cooler than it already is? Please pop your answers down below. Give me some ideas. I'm going to a show this weekend, so if we get them in early, you never know, I might be able to purchase one at the show. Big, huge thank you to the YouTubers who sent me clips on this one. We got Spoods and stuff, Jennifer's Tarantulas, Impossible Inverts, and the Invertabarian. You guys absolutely rock. All their YouTube links is down below. Please hit subscribe to all of their channels. It do me a massive favour, because these are what the YouTube channel community is about, really good friends. And they didn't hesitate when I asked, oh, could you do me a couple of clips just to make my long-winded build video a little bit more fun. Apart from that, guys, thank you very much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed that one. Apart from that, guys, as you know, please comment down below. Please hit that subscribe button and that notification bell. Notifies you of upcoming videos. Doesn't cost you a penny, but it does mean a lot to me. Apart from that, guys, I shall see you you later.